Welcome to the Business Shop Podcast, where our guests speak on meeting the challenges of entrepreneurship, as well as offer tips and advice on business, marketing, technology, and more. Whether you are a newbie or a seasoned professional, this episode is for you. I am your host, Audrey Wiggins. Let's chop it up. Our guest today is Matthew Brower, goes by Matt. Now, Matt is the founder and co-owner of Hey Now Media, located in Cleveland, Ohio. Today, we're going to chop it up about branding, advertising and marketing, as well as sales. And very interestingly enough, is his sales lesson was learned in grade school. This is very exciting. Stay tuned. Is that fair?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, Matt, give us a little background about yourself.
Sure. So I'm Matt Brower. I was actually born and raised here in Cleveland. Went to Kent State. Started actually in nonprofit. Ran a local nonprofit here as the local representative. My supervisors oversaw a region of different people, but we were doing youth leadership development.
Oh, wow.
And so part of that was running all of the accounting, the membership, the marketing, programming, leadership development. It was,
So you were kind of a jack of all trades at that point?
You had to be.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't at that point, but after 5 years, I was.
Okay.
But yeah, and also my whole life I'd always been entrepreneurial as well. I was always the kid who was selling the most candy bars at the school fundraiser and wanting my lemonade stand. So, I had that, and I got into music, and I was in bands, and I was managing bands, and I was using my entrepreneurial mindset and skills to help those endeavors along. And I had the full-time job, I had the bands going on, and that all kind of culminated into what is now today Hey Now Media.
Wow.
The things that I needed for the artists and for the nonprofit and everything that was going on, from graphic designers to writers to web developers to video, all of the things you need in marketing, I had sort of built up around what I was doing in my hobby, but also in my professional career in nonprofit. And I pinpointed that, and I didn't want to work for other people. I had known my whole life I wanted to own my business. Everyone in my family owns businesses.
Okay.
It was kind of a thing that was ingrained in me, and I really wanted to do. But you got to get your feet wet. You got to get some experience. And that's super important.
Right, because you learn what goes on in the back office, so to speak.
For sure.
Behind the scenes. And your journey is not totally unlike mine. The school, the selling the candy and the gifts and stuff, the cookies.
Right.
That was, you kind of alluded to it. You don't think about that. You just do it.
Right.
And, you do it for the prize. You do it to make the school proud, or your parents or whatever, or you're just out there because they told us, to do it. And we weren't afraid.
Right.
That was the key there, and then you taking on the responsibility of graphic design and stuff. So in the beginning, you just went for it. You just did it. You just kind of had like a natural internet ability, and then you do take classes or do some trainings or stuff later to develop your skill, or you just developed it just naturally.
So all of my sort of skills and things that I bring to the table in the business aren't actually the technical skill sets you would need to sell the products or services we offer. So I don't code websites. I'm not a graphic designer. I have an eye for talent, and I sort of see where the void is and seek out those people, because I know I'm not a graphic designer, and I'm not trying to be either. But I know when a client has a specific goal in mind, what visuals might achieve that goal. I don't know how to create the visuals.
Right.
And I'm not trying to either.
It, though.
Yeah, and so it's important to recognize, where your skills are and what you can do, and where you don't have them, and bringing people in. And that's been one of the main things I've been able to do in building a business is just, whoa, I'm not good at writing. I should stop writing. I shouldn't be putting this stuff out that I'm writing anymore.
Right.
Maybe I'll bring someone in who's a good writer so I can focus on sales, because I could do sales. And yeah, it was an interesting thing that as the business sort of progressed, very, very early on, it was always about those sales. And so even, at 6 years old, selling those candy bars, I even remember thinking, like, why isn't anyone doing this? It's so easy. Literally, even though I wasn't afraid enough to not do it.
Right.
But I did. I was nervous. I was kind of scared. I went door to door in my neighborhood.
Wow.
So if you think about how many houses are in a neighborhood, I had 50 on my street. There's 10 streets. There's 500 houses.
Yeah.
I just went door to door.
Wow.
Okay, if 10% of people buy the product, now you're the top seller.
Exactly.
And that's all I did. And I thought to myself, like, why, if everyone just went door to door, they would win. And then I partnered with my buddy who went door to door as well.
Okay.
And he was the top earner. And so we partnered up and we blew everyone out of the water because we had a monopoly. He did this side, I did that side, and we hit them all. And we expanded our networks. And I mean, that's an interesting business lesson too.
That is. That's
like,
a skill set. I mean,
right?
even to have the ingenuity to think, wow, if we put our heads together, just
Right.
think how
Right.
much more, the bigger prize that we can win.
That was it.
or
That was the
whatever.
motivation. It was the top winner was going to get a limo ride to McDonald's.
Wow.
And we knew if we
I'd
went.
like to have that today.
I know, right? Just hang out in the back.
Right, exactly.
Take a minute. But, that idea of, I don't know that we could win that prize alone, but we both last year were neck and neck. If we combine forces, we can get the prize together.
Spirit of collaboration.
Right.
Can we do a hashtag?
Exactly.
Spirit of collaboration.
It's true, though.
Wow. And how old were the two of you about that time?
That was fourth grade.
Okay,
So I think you're
wow.
8, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Around 8 or so.
But that's sort of the, like, you're not a little kid anymore, but you're not, you're not a teenager, you're not sort of, there was that time where you kind of are learning things and you sort of see, like, oh,
right.
I've only been doing this way because that's all I know. And you kind of expand what you're doing and you're like, oh, there's so much other options here.
Right. Is that person in your business today? Or?
No, he's a surgeon in Miami.
What?
Yeah, he's way smarter than I was.
Well, he's just smarter on that side. You're
Yeah,
smarter
right.
on the business side.
I was smart enough to pull him in.
Right, exactly,
yeah.
exactly. So that skill set and building in, fast forwarding into today. So how do you support your clients, and so what goes on there at Hey Now?
Sure. So.
Oh, you know what? Before I even ask you that, because I said the name of the company. How did you come up with the name of the company?
So, actually, again, going back to my childhood, as I was like always, even like 4 years old, 5 years old, I was very like entrepreneurial, into entertainment, into advertising, love commercials.
Okay.
I was very into the Beastie Boys and Howard Stern, and it's probably not good that my mom, she liked Howard Stern, and she was letting me listen to it as a 6-year-old, but that's okay. Yeah. I learned a lot from him. But he always said, "Hey now." And that was their catchphrase. And so I thought it was really funny and cool, and just it stuck with me. But I researched where it came from. And it came from the Larry Sanders Show, which was a show in the late 80s, I believe in the early 90s, that was hilarious. It was a comedy show that was just, it was so good. And that's where the Hey Now moniker and tagline came from. And at 5 years old, I'm going to have a company called Hey Now Records.
Wow.
And it's going to be a record label, and we're going to have musicians. And it was all because of the Beastie Boys.
Okay.
And I saw the Beastie Boys on MTV, and I was like, oh, I want to do that.
Yeah.
But Hey Now Records was trademarked.
That's cool.
I looked into it when I was like 25, and
Dang.
so we did. I mean, I've always had this Hey Now thing, and we did search for other names. As you know, the theme of my business has been pulling in people to sort of do the things that I'm not capable of doing. Yeah. I brought in owners and partners. And we did go through a naming process to try to figure out what should we call the name. And nothing really stuck out more than Hey Now. And so we stuck with Hey Now and decided that, Hey Now Media based on, this was maybe almost 15 years ago, media, where the world was going, we're producing tons and tons of content and media.
Right.
So it's confusing at first. I mean, people are like, hey, now media, what are you, a TV station? Or, I was like, no, you don't understand. Like,
that's right, it's a different
This was the very beginnings of social media, where we were saying, no, we are creating content for social media. That we're producing media. And in their heads, media back then, 15 years ago, was TV spots, was newspaper, journalism.
Radio.
Right. So now, media, I mean, everyone's creating media themselves and on their phones and whatever. So we stuck with Hey Now Media.
Okay.
And that,
I like it because it's always going to be current now.
Right.
The Hey Now, And then the Hey is like, let's get our attention.
Right. And it's interesting. We started out being very bold and loud and wanting to be like, our logo is red. There's an exclamation point. It's Hey Now.
Yeah.
We've always kept the name and probably always will keep the name. But we've sort of moved the language and some of the color schemes and things we've toned down and sort of taken that edge off. But kept the Hey Now because it is memorable. People do remember it.
Yes.
People kind of think it's fun to say, and they'll say, hey now. So yeah, it's great. But yeah, it's evolved with the growth of the company and the type of clients that we've had and what we've needed to do to put ourselves out there.
Okay.
So as a 25-year-old trying to get my first client, I used to have business cards that were this thick.
Wow.
It was bright red. It had a giant exclamation point on the back.
I think I kind of remember.
Right?
Yeah.
And I would throw it on people's desks and it would kind of hit. And I needed that attention.
Right.
There's a million marketing companies out there, especially in Cleveland. There's really good ones too.
Yeah. Right.
So, and I'm passionate about this. This is what I do. So it wasn't like I'm just trying to do this to make money and we're gonna, like, if it doesn't work, I'll go do something else to try and make money. Like this, I loved commercials and advertising and just thinking about business problems. And so how do I stick?
Okay.
And that was the Hey Now thing.
Hey Now. Okay. So Hey Now, what are you doing now?
Sure. Good transition.
Right. Exactly. For your clients. So, what type of clients do you serve, or what's that day-to-day?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's definitely changed a lot. Just like the brand has grown and evolved, the type of products and services we offer has grown and evolved, the way we do it, everything.
Okay.
I mean, it changes. It's still changing. We're working on another new website for ourselves now.
Okay.
It just
and that's important right there because we do have to evolve. Like the process and the background of even redesigning mine as well. And because, you have clients sometimes, I'm sure they've come to you, they've had a website probably for as long as you've been in business.
Yep.
And it's like, and they come kicking and screaming. Well, I want to have this piece, you in your head, it's like, we ain't doing that.
Right.
We ain't doing that.
You're like, can we just do it right?
Exactly.
Yeah, we actually, one of the first websites we've ever done, we just got the green light to redo now.
Oh my God.
This must have been 12. It's still a good website, which I guess is a tribute to the people that we brought on to build it.
Yeah.
But it needed to be done 5 years ago. But now what we're doing is we're working with companies in two capacities, and a lot of time it's both.
Okay.
We either find companies that need to develop their branding, and not just the logo, just the overall customer experience that they're looking to create, the strategy, the message that they want to deliver, and then putting that strategy into logo and identity, then building their websites.
Okay.
And then our other sort of offering or path is just ongoing marketing services. Okay. We really love to partner with our clients and kind of become their marketing department. So we have a full range of staff, just like any other marketing agency, where the three owners kind of learn the business that we work with and the goals and objectives. We help paint the marketing and sales strategies on how they'll actually achieve those goals.
Okay.
And we partner with them on, we'll run their sales and marketing aspects and all of the ways in which their sales team closes sales, they operate, all of that stuff we partner with them on. That's on them. But in that collaboration, we're able to create really good marketing for them. So we're doing digital advertising.
Okay.
We're running, social media. We do a lot of print stuff still.
Okay.
There's
different things going on.
It's exciting. I mean, people love getting something in their hand if it's cool.
Right.
So we do a lot of cool giveaways, a lot of cool sort of folded brochures and things that aren't just like a flyer. It's not always done for every client because it's expensive.
Yeah.
And we could create the same piece of material digital to reach 100,000 people versus the 50 that you could hand it to. But the impact you make on those 50 people with that cool thing is awesome.
Exactly.
So yeah, and we, on the branding and website side, we really work with anyone that we think is going to be a good culture fit.
Okay.
Culture for us is so important. We'd like to get partnered up with the clients.
Yeah.
And
so when you said the culture is like the culture of the organization that's coming to you?
Yeah,
like their core values or anything like that?
Yeah, the point people that we'd be working with, their core values as a company, what products and services are they offering?
Okay.
We only have 10 to 12 staff. We can't take on every single project.
Right.
I mean, we definitely need more sales. We want more sales. I think everyone needs to understand that is the backbone of a business. Without the sales, there's no business.
Right.
But we're not at capacity, so we need more sales, but we can't take on every sale that comes across our plate.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure my employees, when they're interacting with the client, they're having a great experience because our product is always so much better when we are working on something we're passionate about, even if, working on something where it's like nuts and bolts. Okay. But the people are fun, it's exciting, we're winning, there's good results.
Right, and where do those nuts and bolts go after they make them?
Yeah.
So their
it goes
business
to
has to be exciting.
Right, and so there's the culture fit on that side. We typically work with anyone that can afford a medium range budget in marketing. We're not the cheapest, but we're definitely not even close to the most expensive. Okay. But culture fit. If they're gonna be yelling at us because we're coming up on a deadline, or if they have things that are unrealistic, some people take the money, boss. Right? Yeah. But some companies take the money and eat it, and we don't do that. Yeah. We really look for culture fit.
So that's saying that all money is not good money.
Correct.
That fits, right?
And
even you're miserable.
Right. And even with talent, I mean, you find artists that because they are so talented, they have an edge to them, or they have to do things their way.
Oh yeah.
We have to be able to fit into a culture and a community where we're delivering a really good product to our clients. Our clients need to fit into that. Our creatives need to fit into that. I need to fit into that. Like, it's all part of that.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, like, we do need to make a living. People need to eat.
Exactly. We're in business to make money.
Right. It's true. But also, like, it should be fun. Like, we should be enjoying what we're doing. We should be passionate about it, because if you're not, and you're just getting the money to pay your bills and do that stuff, at the end of the day, like, it's not going to be worth it. It's the product's not going to be good. You're not going to be happy. And we've told people, like, this doesn't seem like you want to be doing this. I want you to be happy. Why don't you seek out something that's enjoyable? Yeah. And that's really important to, like, understand, even as a boss. Like, as an employee, to for sure understand, like, if you're not excited or happy about something, there's infinite opportunities out there, and to try to take the time to figure out what that is. But as a boss, to allow your employees the freedom to do that. Like, okay, they're not happy. If they're continuing to produce the work and they could take a couple weeks to find something that makes them happy, like, you should allow them to do that. Yeah. It's going to better your business.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I'll always remember you for that, because we don't want to burn bridges or have sour relationships, in our journey. Along our journey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But at the same time, 100% it is in support and empowerment of your people and those people that are producing for you. But also it makes your business better. Yeah. Like, you don't want people that are half-assed and just kind of not happy. Exactly. And that's why culture for us with the clients, but also with our employees is, I mean, we're throwing once a month, we'll just grab lunch together. We're all working remote. So it's been hard to keep up this community. But we're doing monthly lunches, monthly get-togethers. We're you go bowling, go top golf. Just
I like that.
Yeah, anything we can do. Just things to stay connected. In-person meetings, things like that.
Yeah, that's also a good lesson, though. You know, for other companies that are coming along, or maybe they haven't built their first team yet.
Right.
And just to you give that advice or tell that that story of, the camaraderie, or the culture, the inside culture, and as well as the outside culture, as far as the type of clients that you that you want to serve, because you're in service together.
Right. Yep.
That's important. So so if I'm a startup and I'm coming to Hey Now Media, I don't have a logo. Maybe I have a business plan, hopefully, or we're not even just some even just some basic things about where they want to go at the business. Where's your advice for where that entity starts first?
Sure.
Where they go first?
So really looking at their messaging and kind of what is the overall strategy of who they are, really before they get into anything else. And the way you do that is you understand what are the values. Well, first of all, you need to know who you're targeting.
Okay.
Before you know the values of who you're targeting. But understanding what are the values of who you're targeting, what are the things that you offer that align with those values, and what values do you have that align with those values? Okay. And how do you say that? Yeah. How do you communicate it to those people? And then from there, it's all, what does that look like? What does it feel like? You have to go through that strategic process. So if you know that peace of mind and relaxation is a value to your customers, and your product offers that and it's a value to you, how do you communicate that? Okay. What is the words that you say? And now what are the colors? I wouldn't start using red and yellows and my logo is going to be this thing. It's if you know your value to the customer is peace and relaxation, how are you going to deliver that in the look, the feel, the words, your website? How do you get it back into that concept? That's what is creating the consistency and the trust that you get with a Coca-Cola. Okay. Whether you like Coca-Cola, you hate Coca-Cola, you think it's unhealthy, whatever it is, when you get a Coca-Cola from that can, if it's not 10 years old or whatever it is, it's going to taste the same, it's going to look the same, the can's the same, the logo's the same. For better or for worse, there is a trust that in the back of your head, whether you've thought of this or not, that's what it's going to be. Okay. And when it comes time for your body wanting that, you're going to get it. So you're not going to go, oh, maybe I'll try this new soda that's sugar-free or whatever. I want a Coke.
Right.
And you know it, and you trust it. And so you try to build that credibility and trust across what you do as a startup and a small business, because it's even more important. People don't know who you are. They don't trust you. They've never heard of you before. So if you could come across looking extremely buttoned up, polished, the words match the look, match the website, everything is cohesive, then you build that trust, and you create that first impression. It's almost like if you're going on a date and you show up and you have the really nice shirt, but maybe the pants are wrinkled, or you don't have your watch on, but if you showed up and everything is put together, that impression someone's going to have of you is, wow, this person's put together. They took the time to think about how they're going to look, what they're going to say. It really makes a difference. Okay. And it's psychology, it's perception, but it's strategy, and you got to understand, where are these people at? What do they want to hear? And it's not, a lot of times startups and business owners struggle with saying what they want people to know versus what those people need to hear. And that's a big challenge. So
is that ego, or is it just out of ignorance that, that we don't know any better? Are we just overexcited? I have this to offer it out. Bam, bam.
Yeah, I think it's an excitement. I think it's a passion and an excitement. I would say if ego wasn't such a strong and negative, had a negative connotation, it is ego for sure. And it is just I don't like the word ignorance either, but it's the like.
I'm sorry.
Hey,
we don't know any better. We don't know any better.
But no, we don't know any better, right? We're excited, we're passionate, we're hungry, we want to go, and we just don't know anything else. We're going to try whatever we know. And if that doesn't work, hopefully the ego will allow you to try other things and recognize, whoa, I'm not right. And that's the important piece. But it's all of those things. And when you're able to sort of step back and realize, like, okay, why don't I ask 10 customers?
Okay.
Why don't I research some stuff? Why don't I think about, what are the other brands that do this saying? And actually take the time to do that. Whether you think you're right or not, if you could step out of the like, this is how I do it, this is what I want to say, because you should know those things. Right. You should have some sort of sense and not come to the table like, oh, I have this product, but I don't know anything.
Right.
You should know.
They told me I should sell this.
Right, which happens. I mean, people do things all the time where it's, oh my God, you got to bottle this.
Okay, right.
But, if you're able to step out of that and look at what are other people doing, what do other people say, the best thing to do is ask your customers. If you don't have any customers, who could be your customer, and ask them. Yeah. I mean, I did that so much early on. Like, I would call people I would want to work with. Okay. Like, hey, I'm trying to find new clients. I would love to just get some lunch with you. I would love to pick your brain. I'm trying to work with companies like you. And I would just ask them all the questions I would ask a normal client. Okay. And at the end of the meeting, I'd say, are there 3 companies that are similar to yours that you could introduce me to? I'd never asked for their business or anything like that. But now I know everything that this person would want in the sales process. And so whether they buy or not, I have very valuable information.
Exactly.
And that's for a service-based company. If you have a product, you can go out to anyone in the street and just ask them. Okay. Like, hey, can I ask you one question real quick? Do you like chocolate or vanilla?
Okay.
Chocolate.
Vanilla.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
I like vanilla too. But you get that, like, feedback, real-time feedback. I think a lot of people don't take the time to do that.
And then we have to take action on that.
Right. Yeah. Right. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah. Yep.
So.
Yeah, that's where the courage comes in.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the hard part.
Okay. Well, Matt, you've given us a lot of valuable information. How, if somebody wants to work with you or they want to learn more information, as far as, the how can they get in touch with you?
Sure. It's just heynowmedia.com. Really, all roads typically lead back to me. So if people need consultations or they're looking to see what our services are, anything like that, they can definitely reach out. See our portfolio on our website. And all right. Yeah.
Okay, and what's that website again?
heynowmedia.com.
heynowmedia.com. And this is Matt Brower. Thanks so much for
thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad you were able to come out today and talk with us. And if there's one piece of advice though that you'd want to leave with a business owner or would-be business owner, what would that be?
I think once you have a really awesome product and you have sales to start building that product and company, just take care of your people. Okay. That is what's going to make you successful. So.
Awesome advice. Thank you. Yep. Thanks, Matt. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I look forward to seeing you another time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Somewhere in downtown, right?
I know, right?
Or Midtown. Thank you for listening to another episode of The Business Chop. It is my hope that you were able to glean usable information from today's episode and that you will download and share this podcast. Be sure to plug into our guests. Go through their website and social media channels to see how they can help you further through their products and services, as well as plug into our website altogether.biz, where we will help you expand your brand.